Welcome to African Heroes, where we bring you inspirational and motivational speeches from our heroes.
President Tshisekedi, you have in your country one of the longest serving missions of the United Nations has been active, and that is MONUSCO. We see today that we again hear about a lot of violence there. Actually, it's a country, a region in crisis, with Goma being taken by force. When you look back at MONUSCO, what is your advice for future peacekeeping? How can the UN peacekeeping be more effective?
Pratiquement pas ému grand monde. Ça veut dire que le droit international est totalement remis en cause.
Reactions, in fact.
Comment se fait-il qu'un pays, l'intégrité d'un pays puisse être violée comme ça, ses habitants être massacrés?
How come integrity of a country has been attacked, that people is being massacred without another country being held accountable for that? And I think that puts the role of the United Nations into question, because it, I think, reacts in two speeds, in a way, in two ways, whether it is a weak country, a less privileged country or not. And I think that very much puts multilateralism into question. But coming back to your question, I think the entire multilateral system has to be rethought to make sure that a mission like the MONUSCO mission, usually we are talking about UN missions, that they have more ways to act, and that they can actually protect people on site, and that they can actually make sure that international law and humanitarian law is respected. And I think as long as we've not solved this question of multilateralism, as long as it's not really been made clear what role international organizations such as the United Nations play, the international law is going to be disrespected by different parties. And this is a conflict that has been going on for over 20 years in the DRC. The mission has been here for many, many years as well, with the task of providing stability and protecting the people. Today, over 7 million people have been displaced in the DRC, internally displaced, and that is also due to the most recent actions taken by Rwanda. Rwanda has repeatedly provoked such situations for many years, and there have not been any countermeasures taken, no measures taken to ascertain the territorial integrity of the DRC. And that, of course, leads to reactions, and other countries might use that as a role model. It's a precedent that is created. Now, of course, it's a complex issue. The entire conflict itself is very complex, but I think we quickly have to tackle these issues, because in particular on our continent, on the African continent, this can set a precedent that can lead to more instability.
Thank you very much. My question goes to the two presidents, Excellency Mahama and Excellency Tshisekedi. And what we've listened today is that the global system, the international system is changing in contested ways. But at the end of the day, as a believer in multilateralism, there's consensus that there's need for strengthened multilateralism. So the question to you is, do you believe that regional organizations, as they are right now, whether it's EAC, SADC, or the African Union, have the credibility to help you or all of us address some of the challenges that we face? And are there complementarities with the UN, with the reformed UN system right now for that to be able to happen? Thank you.
Yes, I've always believed that for a continent like Africa, in order for such a continent or a country on that continent can integrate properly, for example, through a free trade zone, that almost all African countries now are part of such a free trade zone. In order to do that, first of all, it's important to work together with regional economic organizations, such as the West African Economic Organization. But of course, you're right, they have to be credible. And this credibility can only be achieved if we uphold the principle that such communities have imposed on themselves, actually. If in such a regional organization you say, for example, we stand in solidarity, we are united, we have to reduce trade barriers or tariffs, and if then within that community one member state is being attacked, then there is no response to that, and that's not acceptable. So the principles of solidarity and protection are not applied, and that's a problem if we end up with such a situation. And I believe that the credibility of regional economic organizations has a lot to do with upholding what they have imposed on themselves or what they have agreed to themselves. And I believe that is the true question. Multilateralism, yes, I do believe in that too, as you've asked the question. But today, there's a lot of hypocrisy associated with that. So we do have certain agreements that we made, but they only apply to some who feel that they are untouchable. And if these obligations affect others who have the same rights, then these obligations are no longer complied with. And that's what we need to talk about before we rebuild multilateralism.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm the Minister of Defense of Rwanda, and I want just to put some clarification on the comment I had from the panel. So, first of all, the Rwanda is committed to supporting the multilateralism. The UN as a unifying force is more crucial than ever during this period of fragmented division. The foundation of a stronger UN lies in the reinforcement of multilateralism, and we must work together to collectively address global issues that lie ahead. As we heard from the panel, the crisis in the Eastern DRC is a challenge for all of us in the region. Rwanda has been heavily affected with devastating human, political, and economic consequences of the crisis. However, Rwanda has nothing to gain from an unstable DRC. On the contrary, our vision for prosperity is tied to regional stability and economic cooperation. If I give you an example, in 2021, Rwanda exported close to 700 million USD worth of goods to the Democratic Republic of Congo. In 2022, Rwanda also, our exchange with Congo was over 33% of our total exports. Why Rwanda would be a country with an ambitious agenda for socio-economic development and at the same time want to jeopardize this cooperation. So Rwanda's best interests and economic ambitions are better served by peace, not conflict. It is time to move beyond simplistic narratives and focus on facts and solutions.
Please. Yes.
Thank you. What I was trying to say is that we are not accepting the finger-pointing strategy because we want to know that Rwanda has the concern and Rwanda has never attacked the Congo and will never do so. What we have done is to ensure that nothing can cross from Congo and jeopardize our security. I thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your remark. We are not able here to resolve the issue, and we don't want to have a debate on this. What I propose is that maybe you'll try on the margins to talk to each other. I mean, this conference is about peace through dialogue. So instead of making declaration, maybe you could.
Very much. My name is Edith Kimani. I'm from Kenya, and I'm also a journalist. My question is to President Tshisekedi, because you said that it's important to work closely with regional organizations, but they have to be credible. And at the same time, you've also, on many occasions, called onto the international community to say something about what's happening in your country. So the question is, do you not trust that the AU, SADC, the EAC are doing enough to resolve the situation in Eastern Congo?
Yes, I have one question to the DRC president. My name is Mime Fo. I am a journalist with the German broadcaster DW. Today we are having reports that the M23 rebels have taken over Bukavu, just at the airport in that strategic city. I wanted to first of all find out what your reaction is to this latest news from the DRC. And the second question that I wanted to find out from you is, it seems like African regional bodies are failing, and even you are here abroad also trying to seek solutions to the situation in the DRC. Is it possible for you to have one-on-one discussions with the president of Rwanda to put an end to the conflict in the DRC, and what is stopping you from doing that? That's my first question, and the other question is to
one question only.
Okay, yes.
Sorry.
Sur les discussions avec le président du Rwanda.
I'll start with the last question about talking with the president of Rwanda. Yes, we've done that on 15th of December. A peace agreement was supposed to be signed, or negotiations were supposed to take place, but he did not come. He attacked us, and he violated the integrity of our borders. And for this reason, the question should be posed to him. And given the most recent events, of course, that is an affront, and we now have to address that. We are resolved to regain the integrity of our territory, and we will achieve that. It's now up to the international community to take on responsibility. The international community is armed, and it has supported Rwanda in the past. Rwanda is exploiting Congo's resources, so it's up to the international community to do everything to prevent this conflict spreading in the region, because we will not accept this kind of behavior. But there are other countries too that feel threatened. Burundi, for example, they've closed their borders to Rwanda, and there are also other countries that are thinking of what kind of position to take. And of course, it could lead to a spillover in the region. We will assume our responsibility, that's clear, but it's now also up to the international community to do the same.
Welcome to African Heroes, where we bring you inspirational and motivational speeches from our heroes.